Diplomatic tensions over Iran, they continue to rise. The UK says Iranian ships tried to intercept one of its tankers near the Strait of Hormuz, were warned off by a British warship. Now, this comes just a week after Britain seized an Iranian supertanker. It's suspected of carrying oil to Syria. That's breaching foreign sanctions. Things are stepping up. Shahram Akbarzadeh is Professor of Middle East and Central Asian Politics at Deakin University. He joins us now. Shahram, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
This latest incident with the tanker, is that a case for tit for tat? What's that about?
It is a very clear case of tit for tat. I think Iran is trying to retaliate, and the Revolutionary Guard are trying to flex their muscle to show that they can do as much damage as Western countries, British or US, are doing to Iran. But also keep in mind that it's not just the Revolutionary Guards flexing its muscle. It's the actual president, President Rouhani himself, warned Britain of consequences for that action. So in a way, what has been going on in the Persian Gulf and the stationing of U.S. troops there in close proximity to Iran and all the hype about, maximum sanctions and maximum pressure on Iran has really unified the Iranian leadership under a very hardline banner. So that's a very dangerous situation that we have right now in Iran.
The introduction of British interest in this is interesting because Britain in recent weeks has distanced itself somewhat from the rhetoric of the United States, but now appears to be becoming more intimately involved in this escalation.
Absolutely. But the Europeans are not very happy that the US has escalated tensions so much with Iran. The Europeans are unhappy that Donald Trump has withdrawn from the nuclear deal, which he tore up last year. The Europeans obviously see the merits of having a nuclear deal to control and ensure Iran doesn't develop a nuclear bomb. But what's happened in the seizure of Iranian tanker is that Iran was breaking EU sanctions on Syria. So different matter altogether. But it's happening against that background of tension in Persian Gulf. And that has brought the US and UK together against Iran. That's very unfortunate.
What's the background, too, in terms of the internal politics within Iran? What sort of pressures is President Rouhani facing internally?
Huge pressures. President Rouhani came to office saying he wants to bring Iran out of isolation, and the price for that was to sign a nuclear deal that imposed unprecedented scrutiny and inspection by the International Atomic Energy on Iranian nuclear energy. His critics, his hardliners, were saying you're selling out. They were saying that you are putting too much trust and confidence in the word of the United States and international actors, that you are really jeopardizing our sovereignty. He said, no, let's go ahead with this deal. They signed it in 2015, and Iran complied with all its regulations. Now to see Donald Trump pull out. And this has really given fodder to the hardline critics who are now saying, we told you so, we told you can't trust the Americans, and look what's happened. So this has put Rouhani in a very tough situation politically. He doesn't really have much room to maneuver.
In your feeling, I mean, we're hearing about the increasing enrichment of uranium at high concentrations by the Iranians. Is Iran pursuing a nuclear weapon?
Well, Iranians deny that they ever wanted to have a nuclear bomb. Having a nuclear bomb requires much higher enrichment, up to 90%. Iran has, I think, only reached 5%. Enrichment. So
that's a fair way to go.
It's a fair way to go, and it's not 100% certain that they are pursuing a nuclear bomb, but they are definitely trying to ramp up pressure on Europe and ramp up pressure on the United States to say that they are not going to capitulate and they're not going to take this lying down.
Is there an inevitability with the sort of build-up that we've seen in the region, with the sort of forces we are now seeing gathered, the sort of tensions that are growing Is conflict almost predestined here?
Well, nothing is predestined, but it is very risky to have two opposing armies, two opposing navies in such close proximity. The risk for accidental clash is very high. I mean, today or late last night, when the British warship scared off the Revolutionary Guards gunboats, that could have easily got out of hand. Easily. Someone can just pull a trigger and the whole thing can erupt into a all-out warfare.
It just needs one simple mistake. Shahram, we will keep our fingers crossed. Thank you for your time. Shahram Abazadeh, he's a professor of Middle East and Central Asian politics at Deakin University.